from the diabetes football community. And you're going to share a little bit about what you've been doing to maintain the membership and keeping in touch with people during the lockdown period. So over to you, Chris.
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name's Chris. I've been looking after a community of people that all live with, I suppose most of them, type 1 diabetes now for around 3 years. The difference that probably will be to many of your communities is actually ours was based online to begin with. So the basis of it really is that for a long time, I'd kind of felt that type 1 diabetes in sport and physical activity had not really got the kind of support it needed, being a hidden disability, always in mainstream sport. So I tried to create a peer support community to engage people that live with the condition, as well as that are passionate about football, the two things that I know well. And obviously, with a condition like type 1 diabetes, it's not completely and utterly rare to find somebody with it, but it's also not common either. So by creating something online to begin with, that was quite important to engage people and bring people into this idea in this community, because you're not going to meet that many people that are really passionate about football and have got type 1 diabetes in Worcestershire alone. So we use this tool and social media that you'll all be very familiar with now, into engaging people and bringing people into this idea of what we were trying to build. So that's a tiny bit of background around it. And then the kind of purpose is there to try and encourage education and participation and support all of those people that want different things out of it. So we've kind of reached, all over social media, probably somewhere towards about 7,000 or 8,000 people following the community from all over the world. And we obviously particularly trying to impact on those that are in the UK. A lot of our base has been in Worcestershire, so hence why I'm on the call. We've been at the University of Worcester doing a lot of our work. So, but what's really important about it, and I think key to get across, is that we were built on an environment that was about sharing and creating something that's quite open. So people recognize that coming into contact with us, our work, in any contact point, they're going to receive an element of openness that is able then to engage them, make them feel comfortable. And that ethos there about being open, being able to share, it transponds whichever platform that you are coming into contact with us through. So whether that's on Instagram, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's the website, whether that's in person in the projects, we try and create an ethos that is about being open, transparent, comfortable to talk around people. So then when it comes to a situation like this, being in lockdown, we're then able to keep that ethos, and then people feel comfortable reaching out, talking and sharing in whichever way they feel comfortable. So if that's our WhatsApp group, if it's on Twitter, Facebook, through the website, it doesn't matter. What we try and do is obviously keep these values that we hold throughout, no matter throughout whichever contact point somebody finds us on. So I suppose throughout the first lockdown, we were very much looking at what was going on from an online trends perspective. So we were getting people to engage in some of the challenges that were out there. And you might have seen some things around like the toilet roll challenge, doing keepy uppies with a toilet roll. And then the bin challenge, where people are trying to kick things into a bin from miles away. And then there was the tea bag challenge, where people were trying to kick a tea bag into a teacup. So it's these things that we were watching what other people were up to within on social media, and then we were trying to encourage our base of people on our social media to engage in those things. We also tried to get people to share their stories, which is again another massive part of engagement, bringing them in, allowing their voice to come through. It was talked about previously, blog posts. We were doing the same thing, looking for blog posts to share. We were trying to get posts on our social media. We were getting people to fill in little profiles where we were asking particular questions. So all of it was to engage and make people feel like there's still something to be a part of, even when we couldn't do the physical activities that we were doing. We were running a team of those with type 1 diabetes playing futsal. We were planning for kids sessions in the future. All of these things were coming, and they were all physical projects, but we had to basically go back to our core base of being online and engage in a different way. I say in a different way, in a way that we were used to, but one that we'd maybe slightly diversified from in the last year or so as we focus more on delivering physical things. So yeah, we went back to what we knew. We were back on our WhatsApp groups, trying to provide support. We were troubleshooting. As you can imagine, those of us that are living with a condition which puts us in, I suppose, a vulnerable bracket, there was a lot of troubleshooting. There was a lot of questions, especially at the start, a lot of support and answering those questions on a regular basis, trying to be there for each other. And all of that being there for each other comes from, as I said at the start, the ethos of how we came about, and the values that we hold within our organisation is to be open, to share, and just to allow for conversation, because that is a massive part of why the community is there in the first place. It's established on an interest, but it's mostly there to try and provide support for people with a condition, to talk about it and share. So sticking true to those values, and then doing other bits and pieces on the side as we're troubleshooting through WhatsApp, doing things like Instagram live events where, you know, we would I would try and engage with other people that have maybe got some interesting stories with the condition, get on there and join a chat and allow other people to join the chat and pose questions. You can do that on Facebook or Instagram. And yeah, we were just what we were doing was really trying to think a little bit outside the box, watch what else was going on social media, and just use all the tools that maybe we've used before or have now come out in recent times to then engage our sort of population base. So that was the aim. And yeah, that's kind of been our approach for the last couple of weeks as well. We've also started engaging in Zoom meetings. So a little bit like this, trying to get the guys onto having a chat like this, just to see how they are, and just to talk football if they want to talk football, or to talk about questions they've got about diabetes, how their care is at the moment. Again, all of it is around, you know, it comes from, I suppose, myself trying to drive in that openness from the beginning. I allowed myself to be a bit of an open book as I started the community, allowing people to pose me questions, really putting my own story out there. And that ethos has been something that we've really put across in most of the things we've done. So yeah, I think that's probably in a really quick nutshell. I've tried to be really quick there in what we've been up to and what we've been doing.
I think it really shows, Chris, how person-centered you've been, even though you have 7,000 members, did you say, and you might have hundreds of people engaging on various different social media channels. I love how what you're doing during lockdown is focusing on the personal and the social and the emotional aspect of keeping connected through commonalities that people have, whether that's their type 1 diabetes or whether it's their football, maybe a combination of both. I'm sure, you know, I love that you just use the challenges that are already out there in the community that's already happening, you know, the toilet roll challenge, whatever it might be, that just to keep people being engaged, because I think that's also great. Sometimes it's nice to have things that just your community does as a challenge, but it's also great sometimes to be part of something wider. So that's great. Thank you so much.